G'day everyone. Well, Shed Wars challenge is out, and Darren has set the next challenge for the team to go up against Team Southern Cross. So Team Down Under, Residents Homestead, us, Luke and Darren from Down Under Farmer Forge, taking on 3 members from Team Southern Cross. So Team Down Under versus Team Southern Cross in the next Gladiator challenge. So Darren's just broke the news that we can't use eggs, we can't use milk, and we can't use meat. So they're the 3 main things we currently produce on our homestead. Many of you follow along know that we're renovating and we've only just got some temporary veggie patches up and going. So it's going to be a bit of a forage out in the garden this week to see what I can bring in to help with the weigh-in. So let's go outside and see what we can find for our daily weigh. Alright, so I'm just having a look to see what potatoes I can find. This is an old bed and these are mainly just seed potatoes, but I reckon there'll be a few here that we can have for dinner tonight. So just dig through, see what I can find. There's a few on top there that I'm not even going to touch. We're not going to eat them, the sun's got to them. So I'm just looking really at enough for dinner, and the rest will go back in as seed potatoes. So this is down in a pretty unloved part of the garden. Again, it's just where I leave things. So let's pick some mint and some sage. So the mint will probably go in our drinks and the sage will go with the potatoes. So butter and sage cooked up in the pan, and then when it's nice and brown, toss the potatoes through it, and that is delicious. If not, we'll use it with our chicken. I've also got a heap of spinach that I'm going to pick off. You can see it's starting to go to seed. This is down in my bed where I do let things go to seed. So I'm just going to pick enough off for dinner again, and I'll do this over a few nights. So that will go over onions, and we'll just cream them up in a saucepan. You could add the sage butter, but I'll probably just cook these down and either have the sage butter on the potatoes or on our chicken. Let's have a look through the tomatoes. Got a few here. I think what I'm gonna do is cook these out of our chicken, and yeah, so let's just pick all these tomatoes off that we can find. Really, I'm probably getting about 4 or 5 of this tomato tree a day. Great one to just have out in the garden to ask the kids to go and pick a couple of tomatoes for their lunch box, or you know, just to add something fresh to your dinner. Toss them in a pan when you're almost finished, and they're delicious, but also fresh obviously. So that is what I've got in one day. So I'm pretty much getting that a day down here, except for the potatoes of course. So yeah, now here's my rhubarb. My tip for pulling out the rhubarb is to twist and pull, and that will help with the regrowth. It looked hard there, but it's actually quite easy. Here's my strawberries. These are I'm going to do a video on these in the pot. Kids have been not liking me because normally they're able to go out and just pick them whenever they like. But needless to say, there we go. And there's the runners. So I will pick those runners off soon and replant them for the next strawberries. And if you have a look in here, you can kind of just make out the pine needles. I put the pine needles in with my strawberries and they work a treat. So just old pine needles off the ground. We've got a big pine tree out the front. Yeah, so that's mainly all the strawberries. But my 2 Granny Smith apple trees, as you can see, I've popped bags over the apples. It doesn't need a big net over the whole tree, it's only small. So I'm just going to take the bag off, pick the biggest apple. I've got 4 apples there. Just look which is the biggest, and just gently twist the apple, and it should just pop away in your hand like that. Over the course of the week, I've just been really just little videos of as I've picked different things off. These are some of my cherry tomatoes from out the side of the house. Just picking them off as I go. Some of them are a bit overripe, but that's okay. So I've been getting good numbers of these a day, almost a bit too much. Drying off my coriander, so there's more tomatoes going in as I go. So I've got the 2 varieties there to show you the difference. My strawberries, my apples as I've been bringing them in, and yeah, just recording it for each couple of days what I've brought in. There's my rhubarb, made a beautiful rhubarb and apple crumble with that. My bay leaves, spinach, yeah, all my different herbs. So just to show you that I've been videoing it. So apology this week with the disjointedness of the video. I didn't really know how to go about, you know, picking and weighing for a whole week and showing you all of that, or if to just do a photo collage of all the weigh-ins. Anyway, it is what it is. Thank you again to John from Limit Grow for the challenge. So I keep my weigh-ins for the day and for the week in my leather-bound journal. Some of them are daily, so I don't write them in daily because I'll only write if there's a change, if there's a decrease or an increase. So that's happening with the milk. So with the really hot weather, I think with the goats a little bit more dehydrated probably. We had some lower milk and that kind of thing. But anyway, that's how I choose to keep it. I know Jandera, Garowin on Jandera has an awesome tracker if you're wanting to track things more seriously. For me, I use my little leather-bound book, A, because my sister bought it for me, B, a South Australian makes them and they're all handmade and they're just beautiful. And for C, and probably the most important, for me, homesteading is about slowing down and a bit of mindfulness, gratitude, and being outside in nature, and thinking about family as well and providing for my family. So it's not my business, it's not my work, and it's just about being grateful for what we have. Yeah. Final weigh-in. So for this week, I am at 1 kilo and 870 grams. So that is it. Today, so in here I've got what I've picked today. I'm just going to get that to 0, chip that in. And we have got 719 grams. So that will take me, if I add that together, that will take me up to 2 kilos, 589 grams. So that's what we've produced in fruit and veg this week. So it's not a lot for a competition, but I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. I didn't pick herbs every day because I can't stand waste, and while I can give it to the chickens and the goats, they're not particularly keen on some of those herbs out there. They'll eat like this soft stuff. Okay. So 2 kilos, 589 grams, I'm okay with that. That's just our fruit and veg. It's nice to be starting to pick a little bit of fruit. We are currently a protein family. I've spoken about it a lot in this week and in the Shed Wars videos. We're renovating, but we're not renovating the majority of our paddocks. It's affected some of our paddock lines, but we have still been able to run the amount of animals that we would normally run. So that being sheep, goats, we have a pig out there at the moment, and growing out our chickens and our turkeys and that kind of thing. So it hasn't affected that side of the farm, but where we renovated, we lost where we grew our fruit and vegetables. Our fruit, because we had a fatal day of goats going through our fruit trees. However, it's, you know, we've still got some stuff going on that we've been able to maintain, which has felt good. And obviously we've got the veggie patch back out the front as a temporary solution. And a lot of that was about, a bit like this stuff with my journal, about getting my hands back in the soil, growing more of what I love. And that includes what I enjoy doing in my spare time and enjoy doing as family time with the children. So that was more about that than actually the food that we produce from it. Keep in mind, I guess my Shed Wars tip, I think I've given a few tips for this video, but my Shed Wars tip this week would really be, you know, if you're not growing a lot, we're not growing a lot, but we're not actually buying a lot of fruit and veg either. And the reason being, because we grow meat, and it's a tradable item with family, friends and local community. So why, if we sold that meat, we'd probably get more money for it. There's licenses and things like that that are important and go with that. So, you know, you might go, well, what's the cost of a kilo of lamb versus a cauliflower and a broccoli? It's not about that for us. It's about knowing where it's grown, being able to share food with other people, and that sense of community. So consider that if you've mainly got paddocks and you don't have the water for fruit and veg, then consider trading some of that meat for fruit and veg, and vice versa. If you're on small land holding and you're like, oh, I wish I could grow my own meat as well, maybe just find a like-minded soul that grows meat the way you would grow it, and share what you have, and have those conversations with people, because there's so many people out there doing it and that are keen to do it. So I think that would be my biggest tip to consider. That's it for me for this week. I'd be interested to see what, I know Darren's got a few pumpkins he's picking, and Luke always seems to have lots going on in his garden, so that's going to be good to see as well. Yeah, and I hope a little bit of this resonates with you. Thanks everyone.